Here's your WNEM TV5 news update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meg McLeod. Here's a quick look at the stories we're following tonight. As vaccinations continue to slow, hundreds of thousands of doses in Michigan are set to expire in 4 weeks. The state health department is working to fill more orders from providers with existing inventory. It's also providing extra Johnson & Johnson doses to Minnesota to help that state. Continuing coverage, a man has been convicted in the strangulation of a Grand Blanc woman. A jury found 50-year-old David Reed guilty of second-degree murder in the 2018 death of Renee McKelvey of Grand Blanc. The victim was found inside her home, face down on the bed with her dog sitting by her side. Reed and McKelvey had been living together. He claimed the death was accidental. Sentencing is August 13th. New tonight, the National Weather Service has now confirmed a tornado in Port Austin on Saturday. The tornado was ranked as an EF0. Its path was almost 3 miles long, according to the National Weather Service. It touched down 1 mile east of Port Austin. An outbuilding was destroyed, marking its peak intensity at 80 miles per hour. It continued east, damaging crops and a fence line before lifting. Now here's Brian with a look at some storms coming our way. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, hi there, Meg. Thankfully, these will not be anything like the storms that we saw over the weekend that spawned all the flooding and, of course, the 4 confirmed tornadoes that we had across parts of Michigan on Saturday evening. Instead, the last couple of days, thankfully, have been quiet after all that wild weather, courtesy of high pressure here on the First Warn 5 Sky Tracker. That'll begin to pull away into Ohio as we move into the overnight period, and tomorrow we're going to keep an eye on a cluster of some storms blowing up near Green Bay tonight. I don't expect those are going to have much of a chance of reaching us here in mid-Michigan, but it's this warm frontal boundary that we see north of Minneapolis and some storms developing along and north of that that are more likely to track our way across the UP overnight and then arriving in parts of the northern parts of the mitten, I should say, as we start to head toward daybreak tomorrow. Now, on the hour-by-hour forecast, here's what we're looking at here. We watch some of those storms trying there, you see, between about 8 o'clock and midnight to billow in from the west side of the state there, but it doesn't look like any of them will have enough steam to reach us here in mid-Michigan, since we will still be closer to the stabilizing effect of high pressure. But then as we move into the overnight period, that will change as high pressure begins to pull away. Clouds will start to increase really after about 2 a.m. and then between about 5 and 7 a.m. for everybody north of the Tri-Cities. That's when we will likely see that more widespread round of rain and storms come on in. By 7 o'clock, as you're getting ready to head out the door, we'll be looking at some heavy downpours in and around Bad Axe, Port Hope, back across Saginaw Bay into most of the M55 corridor. Those storms will then continue to build southeast into the thumb by about 10 a.m. with what looks like a secondary cluster coming in closer to Houghton Lake, Clare, and even Gladwin by about 10 a.m. Those will track southeast through the Tri-Cities, weakening a little bit by the time we hit about lunchtime to 1 p.m. as they also then roll into the thumb and the I-69 corridor. All of that then gets out here shortly after 1 p.m., but we may see an isolated pop-up shower, maybe even a storm into tomorrow afternoon, before then clearer skies and comfortable conditions will take over as we head on into our Tuesday night. Rainfall amounts from this one also not quite, of course, the absolute just deluge of water that we got out of the weekend storms. Looks like more in areas north and west of the Tri-Cities, a general range of about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch, but of course the potential is there for some locally heavier amounts where storms are heavier, but then it generally looks like it drops off pretty quickly, up to about 1/10 of an inch in most other locations. 65 your overnight low for tonight. Clouds on the increase with thunderstorms developing late. And in your First Warn 5 7-day forecast, scattered storms mainly during the morning and a high of 83 tomorrow. Most of Wednesday is dry, but then we're watching for the potential, that is, for more evening and overnight storms on Wednesday, preceded by a high of 84, but comfortable for the weekend. Chances for showers, but highs will take a turn back into the 70s.
Remember to tune into WNEM TV5 on air and online 24/7 for the latest news, weather, and information.